We are in luck today. I finally found the most sincere pumpkin patch to sit in front of. I have been praying for 2 years now that I could have its Dariam as a special guest on my Anchor Moment show. Seriously, for 2 years, I have seen its Dariam. He would come up on my lives, and he always had the most sage comments, full of wisdom and sincerity, and oh, he's just such a special shipmate. And it's been a pleasure every time he has shown up on the live. Our Anchor Moments community just loves him. They've given him the nickname King Dariam. Instead of it's Dariam, it's King Dariam. And last week, he was going to be my guest. And I was so excited that he was finally going to be on my Anchor Moment show. And he had some storms show up at the part of the country that he's in, and his electricity got knocked out. So he ended up not being my guest last week, and I was so disappointed. And he tried really hard. And a minute before we went live, everything went blank on his end. We just couldn't pull him up. And so last week, you got a lot of special stories for me that I hadn't really told before, that were in my heart, that I shared, but I didn't get to do it with Dariam. But that is not the case this week. This week, I swear, he's really here. So with no further ado, one of our favorite shipmates of all time, it's Dariam! Yay! I think we should do a yay.
Oh.
Yeah! Yay! He's really here, you guys. It really is King Dariam.
Yay!
He's really here. Yay! Oh my goodness. Hi, Dariam. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. I am doing fantastic. If Gina, Jeff, if I could just have one moment.
Absolutely.
So first of all, I want to give everybody a quick apology for missing you all last week. Apparently, the storm didn't check my calendar before taking out the power and the internet. But I'm happy that we had another opportunity to get together. And I really appreciate everybody who came out and really had great and kind things to say. I really appreciate you all coming out and giving us another chance. So, Charlie Brown, the great pumpkin is really here.
Yeah, yay! I know he's really here. He really exists. He really is willing to be a guest on our show. And I'm just so thrilled. And I can tell you all, I scared King Dariam. I scared him big time because I saw him at the OAC, Obesity Action Coalition convention in Orlando. And he was at a table in the farthest corner of the room. And when I entered the door of the ballroom, that he was at the very, very corner, I saw him. And I went running full steam as fast as I could on top of my voice, screaming,
Apparently.
Yay!
Did you have the confetti too?
Yeah, and Dariam didn't first see me when he was in the corner of the room, but boy, he could hear me just coming at him like a freight train to give him a big giant hug. Oh, anyway, it was so much fun. And I got an opportunity to really hang out with Dariam at the OAC. We went to a lot of the sessions together, and he's also friends with Mayor Mindy, who we got to hang out with, and Michelle Frank, Jess and Jen, and oh gosh, there was a whole bunch of us. If I missed your name, I'm sorry, but there was so many of us friends that got to hang out together with It's Dariam, and we had so much fun. And Dariam got to have a special job. I didn't get to take Jeff with me on this particular trip. It was a miracle that I went anyway. I wasn't going to go because it was going to be expensive, and we'd have to fly out and stay at a fancy hotel instead of sleeping in our van like Jeff and I normally travel. So it was going to be a very expensive trip. And when we figured out that Dr. Anya who wrote the book Enough with Oprah was going to be a guest at the OAC, and I found this out 2 weeks before the event. I was doing a live where I like to do a weight loss book club, and we're a book club for busy people. So we just do one chapter a week. And it was the very first week, and I was sharing the very first chapter. And a friend of mine and a friend of King Dariam, Lorraine Durham, popped on my live, and she put in the chat, Gina, you have to go to the OAC convention because Dr. Anya, who wrote Enough with Oprah, is going to be one of the keynotes. And Lorraine was going to get an opportunity to interview her after her keynote presentation. And she said, Gina, you have to come. And I thought, oh man, I really do have to come. That would be so awesome. And I said that during the live, and I said my friend Michelle Frank just became a travel agent, so she was new to it, and I was going to give her a call and find out exactly how much money it would be to go and see if I could do it. But I only had 2 weeks notice, so I knew the plane ticket would be expensive. And when I got off that live, I called up Michelle Frank, and she looked into it for me. And for Jeff and I to go, by the time we did the hotel and got Ubers or rented a car or something, it would have been $4,000 for the two of us to go. And so I told Michelle Frank, oh, darn it, I can't go. That's a lot of money all of a sudden. I don't have that just sitting around. But thanks anyway. And when I got off the phone, Jeff was like, oh, Gina, what if you go without me? And just you go. And it was close to my birthday.
Why would I say that?
Because you love me?
Wow. Why else would I say that?
It was my 60th birthday, and he had no idea what to get me for a present.
And why else would I say that? You could go without me.
Oh, Jeff's an introvert, so he doesn't like conventions. I love conventions, but Jeff hates conventions.
Star Trek conventions, I would.
Yeah, unless it's a Star Trek convention, he's really not interested in conventions either. But he said if you went and maybe you shared a room with a friend in a hotel room, it would cut the cost significantly, and I'll let you go as your birthday present from me. So I called Michelle Frank back up and asked her if she knew anyone that was didn't have a roommate that was female that maybe I could room with. And she gave me two names, and one of them was Kirsten. And she gave me Kirsten's number. And when I called her, Kirsten was so sweet. She said, Gina, I live in Orlando. You can stay at my house. I'll pick you up from the airport. And so you don't even have to pay for an Uber. And then Kirsten is also a travel agent. And she looked online and she said, you know, if you do the red eye on Frontier, I can save you a little bit of money on that airfare too. So boy, that night I booked the flight and I let some of my friends know I was really going to come. And one of my friends is Barb, who's the metabolic midwife. And she's friends with Rhonda, Joyfully Ever After YouTuber. And they were going to share a room together. And Barb had gotten one of those scholarships. So she had a free hotel room. And Rhonda said, you know what? I live in Orlando. I can drive to and from this convention. Barb, why don't you have Gina be your roommate? And so I got a free hotel room that I could stay in, and it was just a blast. But while I was there, Dariam got to see firsthand all the special jobs Jeff has to do when he is with me putting this YouTube channel together. And Dariam really, really helped me.
Thank you, Dariam.
Yes. And Dariam got to see firsthand that I probably do have undiagnosed adult ADHD. And so there's some little things that it's kind of nice to have a sidekick really help me. Give her a chance to talk. Yes, like Jeff's writing a note. Give Dariam a chance to talk. So Dariam, I want to hear all of your thoughts about hanging out. But I thought it was kind of funny to read it out loud. Dariam, I want to hear your thoughts and takeaways from being at the OAC, as well as your thoughts and takeaways of that, and what it was like hanging out with everybody.
Do you want to show the slideshow now?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Let's put up some of the slideshow.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. And there's
Well,
Dariam.
that wasn't at the convention.
But you are wearing something very special.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I was wearing this, and this is the look and the stance that I had when I was protecting Dr. Anya from all of the onlookers. So I had to make sure that we protected her because she needed security.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No,
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Yeah. Oh, there was so much of, she needed security so she didn't get hugged to death because so many of us were giving her hugs.
So, let me back up just a moment. So Gina, I think that Gina kind of downplayed our first interaction because picture it. You have a crowded ballroom full of people who are there celebrating, seeing other people who are living with obesity. They're taking up space, enjoying themselves and talking amongst themselves, getting to know the people at their tables. These tables probably had 12 people at the table at least. So picture it. We have probably 50 tables in a room. Gina finds me out of a crowd. And no, she didn't just casually say, "Oh, it's Dariam." She found the breath from the inner depths, and she screamed, "It's Dariam," so loud that the room went silent. And she went through, and she gingerly. Now Gina is probably 5'1", 5'2", 5'2", but Gina moved around that room like a mouse running around in the thing. So I don't know how she got through all those people, but she came up and she found me, and she bellowed my name, came up and hugged me, and I was like, okay, fast friends. So Gina, she downplayed. Oh, I just saw it's Dariam in the corner, and I just yelled and came over there. No, it was a whole production. People were, tables were flipped. People were going back and forth. They were hiding. They didn't know what was happening. I don't know if it was bombed or what, but
they were called security.
It was nothing but the sonic. It was the sonic boom that is Gina. So I just wanted to, set the stage that people really saw what was going on. But it was a really, really great time. The takeaways from the OAC, what I enjoyed the most was the connections with the people. Being in a space and living in a larger body. I'm not new to living in a larger body, but living in a larger body and trying to make yourself as small as possible is something that I dealt with for a long time. And going to the Obesity Action Coalition, where there may have been tables with lots of people, but they were not all crowded together. They were spaced nicely where people felt comfortable. People could get as close, or people who had varying sizes felt comfortable. It was a space that was made for us, and you didn't have to perform. You didn't have to try to fit in. you were able to go in and were surrounded with people who just got it. So
Yeah.
being around there and making connections with the people. Now, just want to be clear to the people. This was not a GLP-1 type of conference.
Mm-mm.
This was not a bariatric type of conference. This was people who were living with obesity from all stages, all realities, and everybody made the choice of how they wanted to live in their truth. And it was wonderful to get and gain different perspectives, seeing how people navigated the world and being in a place where they got it. You didn't have to shrink. You didn't have to make somebody else feel comfortable because everybody made you feel comfortable. So that was what I really enjoyed, was the connections. It was room for Jeff, for the introverts, for we introverts. There was lots of room for mingling, but there was also lots of room for little cubbies where you could go away and kind of decompress or, kind of get yourself together a little bit, or to recharge your social battery. So there were little nooks and things for you to be able to do that. So don't think that if you go to these conventions, it's going to be where you have to be on all the time. No, there's lots of spaces for people who have different experiences. And I think that would really gain and garner for people to be able to come in, have a great time, feel seen and heard, and are not so preoccupied with fitting in. They can actually receive the information.
Yeah. Yeah. And some things, you left the convention and there were takeaways that you could do right away to make a difference. Like right now, I took off my sweater. This sweater I wore at the convention, and it's one of my favorites, and but I don't get to wear it very often because I can get too warm in it. And I have, for at least a dozen years, I stopped wearing sleeveless shirts. So if I wear a jacket, like a blazer with a sleeveless shirt, it has to be cool enough for me to be able to wear that jacket the entire evening and the entire day.
And today it's like 111 outside.
Yeah, it's 111 in Arizona today. And so I normally would not wear this because I wouldn't be able to take the sweater part off. I would just truly sweat in my sweater if I got too warm. Yeah, it's 111 right now. It's 111. But one of the speakers, Dr. Robin Pashby, she talked about inner weight bias. And I was thinking, oh, I don't have that anymore. I probably had that years ago, but I'm feeling pretty healthy right now. I'm done with that now. And then she gave examples. And one of the examples she said was, she gave us a little test, and she said, do you avoid wearing sleeveless outfits, and do you avoid wearing shorts? And then I thought, oh, shoot. I don't think I've worn shorts since my kids were little. I don't even have them in the back of my closet, that are, I'm hoping one day to lose enough weight to get back into shorts. I have 0 shorts in my house, and I live where it's over 110 degrees most of the summer. And I wore sleeveless longer than I wore shorts, but I think it's been at least a dozen years since I've gone sleeveless. And it was at convention that I was like, okay, I'm going to take my long sleeve sweater off. And Dariam was with me the very first time I did that. We were in a special media room that I wouldn't even have known it would have existed if Dariam wouldn't have showed it to me. Let's find it in the, let's go to the slideshow here.
Oops, wrong one.
Echo so we can see Dariam too. There we go. And next.
Go ahead. The arrows are right there.
And there we are. See, and I'm wearing this sweater. And right about, this is the room. So they had a special media room for those of us who are content creators. And they had lots of little spaces in that media room where you could sit and interview somebody that you just met that day if you wanted to. And Dariam and I had a lot of fun there. And I did a couple of interviews. One, I interviewed Julio from Riding the Tide and did it right on that couch. And then they also had, let's see here. I'm sorry, I have to flip quickly. These, which were kind of fun. They had these myth busting, a whole bunch of myths about weight. And there was an opportunity that I could interview people and have them pick which myth they wanted to bust, and then they could bust that myth. And we could do that in the room. And the very first myth buster was Dariam, and he did the very first one with me, which was so neat.
Was it that one right there?
If people really wanted to lose weight, they would. Ooh, Dariam, can you bust that myth?
Oh, definitely, I can bust that myth. So if people really wanted to lose weight, they would, but it's all about biology. If calories in and calories out worked, we would all be thin. It's biology, and your biology rules whether or not you're going to be able to shed the weight. So it's not that simple.
Mm-hmm. I agree. See, he's good. He's really good. He could bust all of them. That's the only one I have up there for you, though, tonight, Dariam. But yeah. You're putting him on the spot there. Actually, everybody else that I did with it, including the first one with Dariam, I would hand them the ring, and there would be, like 20 or 30 myths on there, and then they got to pick which myth they wanted to bust. And then I did it as a short. So you can find that. I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel, and OAC Your Weight Matters convention playlist, and you'll see all the shorts on there where people busted myths, as well as this video will be on there too. But anyone that had talked about that with us. But that was something that I wanted to share. Here's one of those spaces for you, Jeff, at convention. Here's one of the places if you have, you need a little introverted time, you can just kind of kick back and chill.
Looks like a big picnic cereal bowl.
Yeah. Let's go back to whee. Oh, wrong direction. I'll go back up to the front here. Something else that I wanted to talk to Dariam about that I'm really proud of him. And it's really with the first picture. Or even this one. Actually, this one's even better. This picture right here, Dariam, of you. So for 2 years, I've asked Dariam if he'd be a guest on my show. I asked him, I'm pretty sure it's probably about 2 years ago. And 2 years ago, he wasn't on anybody's shows. He would show up to our lives, and he was always very kind in the comments, and he would always have the sweetest things to say, or something very, very thoughtful and wise to say in the comment section. And that's how all my shipmates, they all know it's Dariam. They're like, oh my gosh, Gina's got King Dariam on. They were excited for me too, because they love him. And I asked him if he'd be a guest on my show, and he wasn't doing interviews. His voice was still very quiet, but then he started showing up on interviews, I think, and I saw him on Round Mound of Zetbound. I was like, hey, I want to have Dariam on my show. How did Round Mound of Zetbound get Dariam? And when I heard his interview, it just made me want him even more. And then Dariam started at some point here a Substack, The Messy Middle. And I really like this picture of Dariam, and I like the shirt that Dariam is currently wearing. But Dariam is an incredible writer, a really amazing writer. And I love his Substack. Substack, if you don't know what Substack is, it's like if LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube had a baby, it would be Substack. You can do videos on there. You can write blog post articles on there. And it's a place that you can be found and seen, like on LinkedIn. And it's pretty awesome. Dariam, can you tell us a little bit about your Substack experience?
Sure. So my suspect words.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's me. So my Substack is called The Messy Metal by Dariam. What happened was I was inspired. Barb, the metabolic midwife, she created a Substack, and she is a wonderful storyteller.
She
Barb,
is.
she has more stories than I think Shahrazad has, but she started one, and it inspired me to be able to say, well, I have some things that I want to say about my experience. And I was not a camera facing creator. So I said, well, I'll start writing some of these things down and, working through it that way. And I found that a lot of people were talking about the befores and the afters. And they were, people were really in this particular space were really obsessed or really, really goal oriented towards getting to a place of where they wanted their goals to be. And I was like, well, I think that goal setting and things are great, but what are you doing in the meantime? What are you going to do
Yeah.
when you get there? You're going to get to your destination, you're going to look around and you're going to be like, okay, so now what? And I'm a big believer in saying that from the beginning to the end, there's a whole middle part of it. And it's not all rainbows, it's not all sunshine, it's not all it's not all great things, it's not all bad things, but it is things. And I think that if we find ourselves content in whatever situation that we're in, we don't have to enjoy it all and we can love it all. But if we just take the time to realize where we are, make the most of where we are, and make a better choice the next day, I think that we become a little better in our lives. And when we get to our goals, whatever they are, whatever your life goals are, you
Yeah.
can develop, you can grow, you can build, and you can fall even more in love with yourself as you get there. When you start falling in love with all of your idiosyncrasies, all of your flaws, all of the things that you did not like when you had a different eye, and you realize that those quirks are just the wonderful things that make you you and not
Yeah.
like anybody else, I think that you can go on a little bit longer. And next thing you know, you'll be at your goal and you're just trying to figure out, well, what's the next thing? But who did you become along the journey?
Ooh, who did you become along the journey? Yeah. You can keep going. I just wanted to repeat that because it was so good. I want to make sure no one missed that. That is really good.
So I got inspired by a lot of a lot of this story really are things that are some of my internal thoughts, some of the things that I hear, some of the pain points that people are going through. And I was like, well, if I wanted to talk to a friend, what would be some of the things I would say to this friend? And what are some of the things that I had to tell myself? What are some of the demons that I'm still dealing with and having to work through? And in that, I found that people say, oh, I resonate with that, or oh, I get that, or hey, you really spoke to me today. And that humbles me because it's another reality that none of us are alone in this journey. Even when we feel like it. We feel like we're going through this, nobody gets it, nobody understands, nobody cares. And it feels like that way a lot. But I just want you to know that you're not alone. There are people who understand what you're going through, and there are lots of silent people who are in the bushes or in the clouds or hiding behind who will never make a comment, who will watch every video, but will be inspired and change. I know that one of Gina's major plights is the power of one. And knowing that if I can touch one person, then this was all not for nothing. This was all for something. This was worth it. And I really believe that if we can touch one person to make them feel a little less alone, I think that will that kind of helps us along the way as well.
Oh, thanks, Dariam. And it's so important that Dariam brings the messy middle to the forefront. When you go on YouTube there are so many content creators that have been around for a while now that are the OGs. And these OGs, most of them have lost over 100 pounds. And you think, oh, that'll be me. Because then you think, oh, okay, this is my numbers. And if I lost 100 pounds, that's going to be awesome. You know, and heck, Barb, here, show the picture of Barb, who the metabolic midwife, who has an incredible Substack and YouTube channel. And then when you see Barb and I side by side there, you know, sometimes with pictures, it's dimensions. So if you're a little bit closer than the others, like see how big my head is now and how little Jeff's head is, really, there's not that much of a difference. It's because my head now is closer to the camera. But when I bring the camera back, we're, you know, it's about the same. Barb and I, we're side by side there. Barb has lost 280 pounds and she is tiny now. She is so tiny. She is at her goal weight and she is tiny, tiny, tiny. And there I am next to her and I am in the messy middle. I started, if you watch some of my older videos, because when I started YouTube, I didn't start YouTube as a health channel. I didn't start it. I didn't even have type 2 diabetes yet. But boy, I had obesity. And it's easy to see that. Anchor moments are moments in your life that anchor your faith. And I started my YouTube channel after I wrote my book, Anchor Moments, Hope, Healing, and Forgiveness. And when I did that, and you see the videos of me on there, I was, the highest weight I ever saw stepping on the scale was 254 pounds. It's possible in the very beginning videos, I might have been more than that. I just didn't step on the scale to see it. So I don't know. But the highest weight I ever saw was 254. And I was at least that when I started this YouTube channel. And then later I got type 2 diabetes. And I noticed my friends who I confided in privately, they had type 2 diabetes too. They just never told me. And some of them had it for 10 to 20 years and they never mentioned it. And I said, well, why didn't you say anything? They said, oh, I don't like to talk about it. And then I realized, okay, I'm a silly goose. I must be sharing shame too. And we don't have to have shame because we have a disease. That's silly. And I need to forgive myself right now, get over it. And I started a second playlist, another playlist on my YouTube, Anchor Moments YouTube channel. And it was, I got type 2 diabetes, now what? Is what I call that playlist. And then I started putting some things on there about type 2 diabetes. And I thought, you know, I want it to be okay to talk about it. And anyone else out there that feels any shame or blame, I want to help them to erase that out of their heart and know that they are enough.
And help
they are
people
wonderful.
And help people to know not to accidentally take a double dose of metformin.
Oh, yeah. I have a video about that too. I'd never taken any medication before. I didn't need to. I was obese but healthy at the time. And then when I got type 2 diabetes, I had to take metformin, and I had to take two honking huge, two big pills. I was on 1,500 milligrams of metformin, so two big, huge horse pills. And the first or second week I was taking it, I had to ask Jeff, did I take my pills today?
And so I advised her the wrong thing to do would be to count up the number of pills that are left, and we'll just subtract it and see if you took them or not. Well, apparently she'd forgotten to take them another time too. And so she did take them again.
I did take them again. And oh my gosh, if you take 4 of those and you're in the beginning of taking it.
You should let them look for the video. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, Jeff even did poop emojis and stuff. Oh my gosh. So I had to give people advice. You got to get one of the pill packs. So that way you know if you've taken your pills or not, because you might forget. If you take double metformin, you're in trouble. You're going to spend the day in the bathroom.
And if that helps one person.
Yeah, if one person doesn't
avoid overdosing on metformin.
Oh gosh, yeah. But yeah, so I
So-
have a lot of videos like that on that playlist.
But I have a question for you, Gina.
Sure.
So did you have a metformin spanking before you had a Mounjaro spanking?
Yes. It was terrible. It was quite the spanking too. Yes. Oh my
Wow.
goodness. And I've shared, like Dariam said, I share once I started taking my Mounjaro from the very first shot. I went live with those. And before I took my first shot, I told a girlfriend that I was going to do it. And the girlfriend really loves me. I mean, she really does, but she's never battled obesity. I think she gained 20 pounds during the pandemic and she felt bad about it. So she just ate a little less, exercised more, and the 20 pounds disappeared. And so when I told her that I was going to start taking Mounjaro that weekend, I was really excited. I was nervous about the shot part of it, but I was going to do it. She was mortified and she was so worried for me. And she was like, oh, it hasn't been out long enough. What if there's horrible side effects? Can't you just eat less and exercise more, Gina? And it'll eventually come off. And I was at that point, I was 246 pounds. I had lost 47 pounds when I was first diagnosed. I was 254 and up with type 2 diabetes, and I lost 47 pounds with Jeff. But it was like what Oprah talks about in the book Enough, where you feel like somebody is holding your head underwater and pushing you underwater, and you can hold your breath for as long as possible, and then all of a sudden you just can't anymore, and you have to burst up to the top of the water and start breathing again. And once you start breathing again, the weight just comes piling back on. And that's what happened to me. I exercised more. I was doing 1,600 calories a day, 400 calories 4 times a day, 4 hours apart, lost 47 pounds until I couldn't hold my breath anymore. And then the weight piled on so fast. I was almost to I was up to 246 when I told my friend I was going to start Mounjaro, and I was so worried I was going to hit 254 and then start doing more than that, because that's how it always worked for me. When I lost weight, I could lose weight for a little bit, then I would gain every pound back, and then I'd gain even more on top of where I was before. And my friend just didn't understand because she's not battled obesity. But that's how I don't know. So I decided when I heard that was my first time knowing that people would have a bias against taking a GLP-1 medication, even if you had type 2 diabetes and were level 3 obesity, which I was in the 40s at my height.
Your BMI?
On my BMI, I think it was like 41 or 42. I don't know. I'm 5'2.5", and I was 246 when I started Mounjaro. And my highest weight was 254, which if I would have just waited another month, I would have hit 254 before starting. And, but yeah, my friend was worried about me, and she wasn't trying to be mean. She was scared. She was scared for me. And then I knew, okay, I need to, I'm just going to do this online too. I'm going to share my Mounjaro journey. And if I have bad side effects and I get a Mounjaro spanking, I'll tell people I got a Mounjaro spanking. If things go really great, they'll be able to see it's really great. And they'll also be able to see over time if I'm able to keep the weight off. But I am stuck in the messy middle. I am stuck in the messy middle like Dariam. In January, I got down to 196. And today I'm 199. Yesterday I was 198. I always bounce around a couple of pounds up, a couple of pounds down. But I've been stuck. I'm kind of stuck in the messy middle. I'm taking 15 milligrams. There's no higher dose of tirzepatide to take. And I'm still working on it. And then when you see me next to Barb, add it to the stage. How do I do it? When you'll see me next to Barb's 125 pounds. And right there, I'm 198 there. I'm stuck in the messy middle. I don't know if I will ever get any lower. I might always stay here. I don't know. Or I might start to go down again. I'm working on it, but it's okay. It's okay because there's been a lot of good changes too. And I'm not 254 anymore. And I'm at least able to keep those 50 pounds off. So let's hear a little bit more about your journey too here, Dariam.
So something that you said, and it kind of, it spoke to some old things in my head. So I have to speak to those things.
Okay.
There's words are very powerful, as you well know.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you feel stuck? You're in the middle of a movement. You have so many things that's going on in the life of Gina. Gina is a barrel of energy. Has so much kinetic energy that sitting still is not anything that I've witnessed in your presence. So the idea that you're repeating to yourself, I'm stuck. You're not stuck. Right now, you can spend all of your time, and it's perfectly your choice to say, I want to spend the rest of my life trying to get below 196 pounds. That is the only thing I want to do for the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else. I'm stuck there. That's going to be my identity. So I think that that's probably 2 ounces out of your 64-ounce cup to say that you're going to stick with that. So the mindset of being stuck is a prison you're putting yourself in. You are thriving so much more than a number on the scale. Why is seeing somebody else's success, or a success as we see a success, the thing that nullifies all of the, ma'am, you're down 50 pounds and have kept off 50 pounds. When you look at the commercials, they say, oh, people lose 28 pounds and you're down 50 pounds and kept off 50 pounds. When you said before, if you sneezed hard, if you went to a smorgasbord with chips smorgasbord with chips, you came back with 8 pounds. You kept off 50 pounds for all of this time. And in your mind, you're stuck. So I say to you, check to see why you feel stuck. Now, this does not nullify you want more, you want to lose more, and all of that. Perfectly great. But perspective. Why it stuck your word? Kind of figure out why
it stuck my word.
Yeah, why?
That's why he's a sage. Yes. You're right.
From what I'm understanding, that you said that you wanted to have connection. What was your word for the year? Was it connection?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Connection. And to connect. Yeah.
How can you connect with people if you have the barrier that you're stuck? Mm-hmm. How are they connecting to you? Because Gina in her mind is stuck. How can I connect to Gina? Because Gina won't see me because Gina is stuck. Gina can't fully appreciate me because Gina sees all of the things that are around me and not me, because Gina in her mind is stuck. But that's blocking the connection. You say you want the connection. And the connection, I could speak for myself when spending time with you. Spending time with you, I did not see stuck Gina. I saw Gina the creator. I saw Gina the connector. I saw Gina who never met a stranger. I see Gina who loved Jeff. Lord Jeff, if she talked more about you, I was going to call you on the phone myself. Who loved her some Jeff. And none of the things that in the interaction with Gina that stuck. But when you hear Gina talk about Gina's journey, I'm stuck. Not I'm thriving. Hey, I'm down in these 190s, but I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I have done this. I have done that. I spend hours with Dr. Anya. I have Ted Kyle who's coming on. I'm talking to Lottie, Dottie, everybody. How does that happen with somebody who's stuck? I don't understand. So I'm sorry. I did not mean to go on that whole tangent. I really did not. But I just, words have so much meaning. These are the things that I have dealt with myself, coming in the internalized weight bias. Mm-hmm. It's so broad because if you think back to the shame of the things that we keep telling ourselves are true that we've heard. Not the one time you heard something, oh, you know, that's not a pretty color on you. But if you keep hearing it, then you start believing it. So the shame comes from all of these repeated things that we've heard. The internalized weight bias, we have to work hard to gain access to this medication. Why do we have to justify needing medication? Why do we have to justify, well, I'm taking this as a tool to be able to, why? You're somebody who is trying to live a more full life, however that is. And if we spend all of our time justifying, we're not taking time to be able to enjoy ourselves, live fully in us, get over our own stuff because we're taking on everybody else's stuff. So all of this to say, in the messy middle, yes, you could be stuck and you walking around the track and you stepped on some gum, and Lord knows taking gum off your shoes is not an easy thing. And it's, you know, it's like you want to throw the shoes away, but you go through and you find a way to get the gum off and you keep on going. But are you spending the whole track saying, oh, I got gum on my shoe? No, you're like, oh, the flowers are pretty. Oh, look at the mountaintops. Oh, look at this other hiker or whatever. You forget about those things. So on this health journey, if the only thing that says we have success is a number on the scale, then so many of us, we might as well just pack up and leave. Good night, everybody. We'll see you later. But what are all the other things? What life have you now gained?
Oh, I've gained so much, Dariam. So much. So many new friends, so many new experiences. And I can do more with less pain too. So there is a lot of really wonderful things. I am disappointed that I was really hoping I'd hit 154 was like a number in my mind. So I'd be 100 pounds less for my highest weight. I don't need to be 125 again. I was that on our wedding day, but I was on Weight Watchers and I was starving myself and having to do 2 hours of jazzercise classes every day to get down to 125. And I was just that on my wedding day. And then we went on our honeymoon and I gained 8 pounds back. And
it was fun.
Oh gosh, we had so much fun. Oh man, we had fun. We had so much fun. Champagne, whipped cream and strawberries and all kinds of yummy foods. And we played on the beach in San Diego and oh, we just had a blast together. So much fun. But I never saw 125 again. That was the one only day. And I wanted to be, if you are a weigher at Weight Watchers, or you're someone who leads the Weight Watcher meetings, you have to get down to your goal weight and you have to keep it off for 6 weeks before you could start working there where they would pay you to weigh people. And then later you can apply to be a Weight Watcher leader. And that's what I wanted to do. So I remember on my wedding day, waking up and stepping on the scale and being so excited I hit 125, which I was trying to do to get into my wedding dress and everything. And I thought, oh, you know, I made it. This is great. I even went to a class because when you're within a pound or two of your goal, you can go to a class to learn how to work for Weight Watchers, to be a weigher or to be a Weight Watcher leader. And I went to that class, you know, and so I was so close. But I knew I didn't have enough time to run to a Weight Watcher meeting, step on the scale, and then run back home and then get ready, you know, for the wedding. So I thought, oh, that's all right. I'll go to Weight Watchers after the honeymoon. And then 8 pounds in a week is what I gained at that honeymoon. And like I say, I never saw the 120s again. I don't think I ever hit less than 130. So I know that's unrealistic for me. And I was 23, you know, I was a young puppy. So that's just unrealistic for me. But I thought, you know, 154, that wouldn't be too bad. And I'll be 3 years this January. You know, I'm thinking, you know, it's gonna come. But that scale, gosh darn it,
Too accurate.
it's just not moving down at the moment. But we'll see. We'll get there eventually, hopefully. But my health is so much better. There's so much internally that's better. You know, I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that is gone. And at the OAC, they had free liver scans. So I did another liver scan because I hadn't had one in a year. And it was like a year ago that, you know, a year or 2 years ago that they said that it was gone. And so I had that scanned, and they said, sure enough, man, your liver's great. Nothing. There's no problem with it whatsoever. So I have this perfect liver now, and that's because of this journey. And my knees, when I went on the Downsized at Sea cruise, and Jeff and I, we were on what, the 8th floor? I don't know. I think we were on the 8th deck. We didn't use the elevator. We would just walk up and down the stairs to do all the things. And I could do it. I could do 8 flights of stairs, Dariam, 8 flights, you know, going up and going down. The only time I used the elevator is if I was going to give somebody an interview and they still were having issues with their knees. We would take the elevator with them. But other than that, Jeff and I, we were doing the stairs, and I can, where before I couldn't. And oh my gosh, I have friends that have been my friends since junior high. We are tight. Next October, the first weekend in October, we all turned 60 this year. I'm going to go to Nashville and hang out with those girlfriends. And so I have old friends that I just love dearly, but now I have so many new friends too. And it's just been so fun on this journey. So there's lots of joy. The only disappointment I have is just, I was hoping I would have lost more by now, and I'd be closer to my health goal that I wanted to get weight wise. But I can tell you, I've watched the commercials on TV, and all of us or all the YouTube creators, content creators that have lost 100 pounds or more, they are unusual. That on TV, the Zepbound commercials say you can lose up to 48 pounds. And when they do the Mounjaro commercials, they just started doing those, and they're saying you could lose up to 25 pounds. And I was like, oh, wow, okay. Because I had heard it's easier to lose the weight on a GLP-1 when you don't have type 2 diabetes. But I didn't see it quite like that till you see the commercials side by side. And then I know, okay, all this exercise I've been doing and trying really hard to eat healthy food and all the things, I have had actually quite a bit of success. I just didn't realize it because I'm watching my friends that are YouTube content creators that have lost over 100 pounds. And I keep thinking, well, at some point, if I do this long enough, that'll be me too. But then this year's has been a rough year with the scale. I'm giving you space now, Dariam.
No, it's hey, I'm listening to the where you are. And where you are, you're speaking for a lot of people. You're speaking for a lot of people that are frustrated with the idea that they would be in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would love to know, who told y'all that?
What?
Who told you all that you would lose 100 pounds? Who told you all you would be down 50 pounds? Or who gave you all those numbers?
Actually, it's really interesting that you would say that. My favorite doctor of all time. I had a really good doctor and I had a really crappy doctor, Dariam. But my really good doctor I had for over 35 years, Dr. Gannon. You know, I have to be happy that he got to retire, but gosh darn it, I was hoping I could have him forever. He was so great to me. And I remember when I didn't know he was retiring, it was probably the last time he was my doctor. And I went in for my visit, And he had told me when Mounjaro first came out, there was no commercials. I mean, it was minutes practically that it came available that he could prescribe it to a patient. He told me, Gina, there's a new medication out. It's called Mounjaro. And he told me there are people in the clinical trials with type 2 diabetes that have lost 50 pounds. And I would love to put you on this. And he got the piece of paper he had, it was a little piece of scrap paper. And with a pencil, he wrote Mounjaro on it and he handed it to me. And he said, check your insurance.
Didn't you find that little piece of paper when you decluttered your anchor room?
I don't know, baby. I found so many papers. Oh my gosh. But he handed it to me. And I remember thinking 50 pounds. Because at that point I was 254. And I thought 50 pounds, that'd be a miracle. That would be like so amazing. And so I thought that would be like way, way cool. But when I went home and called my health insurance, it was going to be $1,400 a month. They didn't care I had type 2 diabetes. They weren't paying for it. And so I didn't get to use it. But that was the first number, was 50 pounds. And I actually have hit it. But my last visit with Dr. Gannon, with him as my doctor, and I didn't know he was going to retire. So I never got to tell him how much he meant to me. But I remember looking at him, and I was doing Mounjaro. I can't remember what I was on. I was at least on 7.5 milligrams at the time, and I was doing well, and I was starting to lose weight. And I said, Dr. Gannon, what's your secret? You're so thin. You've been my doctor for 35 years now, and you never change. You've been the same weight for 35 years, and you saw my weight because he was my doctor when I got married. He saw me at 125. He'd been with me the whole time. And he never made me feel bad about myself. You know, he would give me different advice about things, but he never made me feel bad about myself. And I remember I would be nervous going in because I'd be a new fat number that I hadn't been weighed yet at my doctor at this number, because I'd only go once a year. But I'd be scared. And I'd always have a diet book I would bring with me, and I'd have it sitting next to me on the table, because I thought, I wanted him to know without saying anything, I'm trying to work on it. I know I've gained weight, and he never made me feel bad about anything. He never even talked to me about the books that I brought in, but I had it, just in case. And he just always treated me with respect. And but I asked him, how'd you say you've never gained an ounce? You're always the same. How'd you stay so thin for 35 years? And he said, well, Gina, when I was a kid, I was even skinnier. And I tried so hard to put on weight. I'd have to eat protein powders, and I tried lifting weights, and I tried doing so many things. And I have the opposite problem. I can't get weight on me, but I know it's my biology. And some of my patients have a biology that makes them obese. And I have a biology that makes me not be able to gain weight. And he said, and I like to run, and I used to do a lot of running, but then my knees got bad, even though I was skinny and running. And so now I like to ride my bike or whatever. But no, he said, for him, it's hard for him to put weight on. And I thought that was my last visit with Dr. Gannon. But that's where I got the 50 pounds originally. He never said 100. But when I saw all my friends lose 100 pounds or more, I thought, well, shoot, I lost the 50. Now let's go for another 50. Let's get that 100. And I was okay with lose, because when I lost the first 50, I didn't lose it fast. If you watch all my old videos, it's right on there. I'd lose maybe 2 pounds a month, maybe. And some months I wouldn't lose any, and then I'd have a month that I'd lose 3 pounds, and then I'd have a few months where I didn't lose any, and then I'd lose a couple more pounds until I hit 50. And now it's been a lot of, I started to creep up a smidge, but now I've lost the smidge that I've creeped up. For the most part, I still haven't hit 196 again, but at least 198. So I'm getting closer to that. Just trying to figure out how I'm going to break this next set point. I don't know, but at least my health is better.
So, I was reading this book, and in this book, this author was telling about a story, and the person wanted to do something that they really were trying to get into, and they thought that they would have to change before they were able to do the thing that they really wanted to do. And the advice that their coach told them when they were in the midst of trying to say, I need to do these things before I can perform, said something like, put on some makeup, get a haircut, and get on stage now.
You read my book, Dariam. Oh my gosh. He is yes. Yep. That happened in one of the chapters of my book of Anchor
So
Moments.
a spoiler alert on this wonderful book that I have here called Anchor Moments, Hope, Healing, and Forgiveness on page 39. So you got to get the book if you want to see it. Somebody said, she called out my limiting belief that I would need to lose 40 pounds before becoming a motivational speaker.
Mhm.
Dr. Martin exclaims, put on some makeup, get a haircut, and get on the stage now. So sorry for all the people who have on the headphones. But I wanted to just let people, Gina, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, that same limited belief is creeping back in. Hello, read your own book, ma'am.
Yes.
Read your own book, ma'am. What are you holding yourself back for not getting to this arbitrary goal that you've set?
Mm-hmm.
What are you putting off? What are you playing small for?
Mm-hmm.
So hey, right now you can order it on Amazon, or go to anchormoments.com, order your copy today so that you can see what we're talking about.
Oh, thank you, Dariam. I did not see that code, but as you kept talking about, wait a minute.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds familiar. I know that lady. Oh my gosh.
So when I read the book, I saw no victim in this book. I saw somebody who was traversing life in a road to self-love on many different levels. And this book, you take out the things that you wanted to do and put GLP-1 into place.
Yeah.
Same lessons. That self-doubt, that self-blame that you have, go back to your 6 rules for forgiveness, how to apologize. Go to those and look at those things, and you can apply those same principles there.
Yep.
And how do you forgive the former person? Or how do you forgive yourself now for blaming the former person? So I'm sorry. I did not mean to steer it this way here.
No.
I apologize to all the people that's there. But
yeah.
But I read this book and somebody, wanted to prepare for having a conversation, but who knew that this book had this.
Yay!
Sorry, as Jeff.
I couldn't resist.
So, but Gina, there's books in there for hope, healing, and forgiveness. And right now, so many of the people in this community are in a place of hope because they have been ostracized. They have been downtrodden. They have beat themselves up for years because all they heard was, it's your fault. Eat less, move more, and all of those things. And these medications, this community, the choices that you make offer hope.
Yeah.
And hope is not a guarantee, but it is a light. It is a
Mhm.
glimmer that there is something else. When you look for
Yes.
healing, do you ever know that when you on the road to healing, does every day in a healing road feel good?
Hmm.
Where you have a
Well, some
sickness.
of them are hard. Sometimes it'll make you cry,
Oh,
and there was
well,
a
I mean,
lot
when
of
you
it.
have but with the healing, things scab over and the things are bleeding and all of those things, and you have to peel off the scab. All of those things hurt. But
Hmm.
there's healing that comes with it. Nobody said it was going to be tiptoeing through the tulips and roses and pansies. It is sometimes tough.
Hmm.
And the biggest part that a lot of us have to deal with is forgiveness, because
Yes.
we keep punishing ourselves because we
Yes.
believe we deserve this.
Yes.
And we have not learned to, when you learn to, now, I'm not saying that you are nullifying your goals. You're not wanting to do more, and please don't make me say that these things are lofty. But I think that both things can be true. I think that you can be on a healing path as you get towards your goal. Deal with your demons so that when
Hmm.
you get to your goal, the demons are left behind, or you have tools to put the demons in their proper place. Because if you magically get to 125 tomorrow, you wake up and magically you're 125, are all the problems going to be gone? Are you gonna reach all your goals? Are you gonna now be you're gonna fly Oprah to your house and you will be able to have a conversation with her? That you will be part of the next study. That's what's gonna happen when you get to your 125? Or can you put on some makeup, get a haircut, and get on stage now?
That's right. And Dr.
Stop
Anya is
waiting.
going to be one of my guests. I'm so excited. And Ted Kyle
So,
on
hey,
Wednesday. Yeah.
so now about the biology questions, about the things about people wanting to lose the different weights and stuff like that, those are fantastic things that you can talk to a clinician, but you can also make sure that you are understanding that in this journey, both things can be true. You can be
Mhm.
working hard towards a goal and still learn to love yourself more and
Yeah.
still
Where you
forgive
are.
yourself for the past.
Hmm.
I'm not pushing any of these things aside. I'm not
Right.
pie in the sky and all of those things, because hey, we live in the real world, but both
That's
things can be
right.
true. Okay, I'm coming down off of the mindset. I apologize.
No, I appreciate you so much. And that was such a nice surprise that you read my book. That really does mean a lot to me. And that you could even quote it. A lot of people have given me hugs out of nowhere, and I get like a big bear hug, and they'll say, "Oh my gosh, Gina, I read your book, and I read it at the right time, and it really helped me." And that thrills me to no end. But you are the very first person to quote me from my book, so that
So
really touches my heart too.
so as you go through now in this season of doing your audiobook, God bless you,
Hmm.
Jeff. When you're in this season of going through and you're doing your audiobook, look at it with this new lens that you have. Because one of the beautiful parts about an audiobook are the author's insights.
Hmm.
Not just reading the words on the page, which is great, but they also put those nuggets in there. What were they thinking at the time? What were some of the things that's not in the book? And how is this 11 years later? What insights would you tell Gina back then? You know, all of those things that you have in there. And that could be part of the next book. But anyway.
Yeah, I've already decided with doing the audiobook of this one that it's going to be the second edition that I'm doing the audiobook, because I want to add a couple more chapters to it, to kind of catch people up a little bit to where I am now. And you gave me some ideas there for putting in those next two chapters. one chapter is one that when I give people my book or sign my book and someone's bought it, I tell them that something else really big happened, but it happened 2 weeks after my book came out. So it's not in the book because it happened 2 weeks later. But when I prayed in the very beginning and told God I'd be willing to give up my free will to do his will for my life, but he'd have to make the signs big, like really big. And if he made it big, then I promised I would put my free will aside and go wherever he wanted me to go. And the day in 2015 that hurt my heart to the core, right before my heart got hurt, and I had asked, like a week beforehand for God to give me big signs, I spoke at a podium for the YMCA Interfaith Prayer Breakfast, and the theme was spread joy. And my Holocaust survivor, who was going to be the ending keynote and give us a prayer for world peace, couldn't come because his daughter broke her hip and he had to fly out to help take care of her. And I had a second generation Holocaust survivor go up to give the prayer for world peace, but it was a surprise. She was trying to help me find another Holocaust survivor. She was one who attached me to the first one. And she couldn't find another one for me with 1 week's advance notice. She couldn't find anybody. And she told me, Gina, nobody knows this, but I'm a second generation Holocaust survivor. And my parents used to give talks at elementary schools and stuff about the Holocaust. But my parents have since passed away, and I've never spoken about this. But since we can't find anybody, if you want me to, I'll give you a prayer for world peace. But you also need to know, I don't speak in front of big crowds. I've never done that before either. And there was 300 people in attendance. And the mayor of Chandler and the mayor of Gilbert speak at this interfaith prayer breakfast that I chair. So it's a big deal. And a lot of important people with CEOs of companies and stuff attend this prayer breakfast. And I had a friend videotape her sharing her story. And, but it was all put together last minute. I didn't get the video clip until 10:30 at night, and the prayer breakfast was at 7 the next morning. So my friend didn't get to see it first. And she sat next to me at the table, and she told me, Gina, I'm scared to death. I've not seen the video, and I'm also scared about public speaking, and I'm so nervous. And I told her, oh, you're going to be wonderful. Don't worry about it. It's going to be so great. And the table I sat at had all the faith leaders at it. And when they played the video, it was so heart-wrenching. She shared that when she was in second grade, she asked her mom, how come when I go to birthday parties, all my friends have cousins and stuff, and I don't have any? And then in third grade, she came home from school, and her mom was ironing and watching the Holocaust miniseries. And she was staring at the TV like this. And she asked her mom, what are you staring at, Mom? And her mom said, I'm trying to see if I see any of our relatives. And then it ended. And then Hadass was called up to the stage. And when she looked at me, and she had tears in her eyes, and she stood up at the podium, and she said, I'm so sorry. I hadn't seen that video yet, and my parents have recently passed, and this has really struck my heart. I'm just going to read for you real quick my prayer for world peace. I'm going to read it first in Hebrew, and then I'm going to read it in English. And then she went, blah, 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 something, something, something wonderful, world peace. And she left the stage. It took 2 minutes, and she was supposed to speak for 10 minutes. My absolutely fantastic MC, Coach Dar, who wrote the foreword of my book, she wasn't on the stage. She was sitting at the table with my boss and all of the famous people. I had,
VIPs.
yeah, the VIPs. I also had a keynote speaker that was a baseball player for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the mayor sat with my boss. And no one was up on that stage. And I was told the day before that they were afraid I was going to run over. And so they
Go
took
overtime.
go over time. And so I was supposed to speak, but I was taken out of the program because they were afraid there wouldn't be enough time for me to speak.
Because sometimes she talks longer than she intends.
Yeah. So I went up on that stage. I saw that empty podium, and my friend in tears sitting next to me. And the theme for the prayer breakfast was spread joy. And everybody was crying. And I couldn't ask my boss if I could go up and get the podium because he was over at the other table. But I knew in my heart, God was telling me, you have a story to tell, Gina. And the story you were going to tell it at the beginning of the prayer breakfast. Because I was the chair. I always told my story. I was the first person to speak. I would tell my story about how we got the theme. And then I would call up my MC, and then Coach Dar would introduce everybody else, and I would sit down and I'd be done. And I went up to the podium and I shared how we got the theme, spread joy. And I said that Jeff and I had pillow talk, and I was nervous because the prayer breakfast we had before was really fabulous, and I could feel God telling me in my heart what the theme should be. And I hadn't heard anything this year. I couldn't feel God telling me anything this year. And I was scared, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And Jeff said, Gina, why don't you choose spread joy? And I didn't want to choose that because I wanted to have a Holocaust survivor give us a prayer for world peace at the end. And the Holocaust was so horrible. Spread joy would not be an appropriate theme, but we could do it maybe a different year, but not that year. Then the very next night, I had a dream, and I remembered my friend, Gerda Weisman Klein, who was a Holocaust survivor. And she spoke all over the place, so many places for years. And one of the stories she would tell is when she was on a death march with one of her friends. Her friend saw a raspberry in a bush, and her friend picked that raspberry and put it in her pocket when the guard wasn't looking. And as she walked all day long, that raspberry bounced around in her pocket. Then that night, when the guards weren't looking, she said, Gerda, come here. I have something for you. And she pulled out that raspberry and put it on a little leaf and handed it to Gerda. And she said, I want you to have this. I know you are the lucky one. I know you will survive. And Gerda said the love that her friend gave her only possession of a raspberry to her made her heart leap with joy. And when she put that raspberry on her tongue, so much joy shot through her body. Even her fingers and toes were tingling with so much joy. And then a few days later, her friend died on the trail. And I want you to know the reason our theme is spread joy. When I woke up from having this dream, remembering Gerda telling this story that really happened, the next day I asked Jeff again, hey, Jeff, why'd you come up with the idea of spread joy for the prayer breakfast? And he said, oh, I don't know. I was reading in the Catholic Daily Reading, and it was telling me about something about if you knew the thief was coming in middle of the night, what would you do with your treasure? And I looked at Jeff and I said, you know what? The theme of the prayer breakfast this year is going to be spread joy. And then I looked at the audience and I told them, listen, we all can choose to spread joy. It's spreading joy. It's a choice. And we can choose to spread joy. Gerda's friend was surrounded by death and evil, and she still chose to spread joy. And that's what we're called to do, is to go out and spread joy. And then I walked off the podium. And when I did, this woman I never met before, her name is Christine Ellis. She came out of nowhere, the same way that I came after you, Dariam. Out of nowhere, I get this huge bear hug. And she said, Gina, and she had tears on her face. And she said, this is the best interfaith prayer breakfast I've ever been to. I want to join your prayer breakfast planning committee. And she handed me her business card. And this is September of 2015. And her business card said, Christine Ellis, Holy Spirit Broadcasting Network. And the very next day, I got in trouble for hijacking the mic. And my feelings were very hurt to the core, because I was working 80 hours a week or more on this prayer breakfast. If my eyes were open, I was working on the prayer breakfast. I even sold a table. I got a table sponsor from my dentist while he was putting a crown in my tooth. And I was telling him about the prayer breakfast and how we should sponsor a table. And I could put, we have a nice program and it would have this thing on, like this. I was like on fire. I was using my ADHD in the best way, where I was hyper focused on the prayer breakfast with every waking minute I had. And to be criticized by my peers and in trouble for it the next day broke my heart. And I didn't put that in the book. I just put that somebody at the Y hurt my feelings, but I was hurt to the core. But God gave me Christine Ellis that day, right before I got in trouble, but after I listened to God's will versus my will for my life. And I didn't know it was a big deal. But Christine and I became friends, and she joined my planning committee, and we had a ball together. And she kept telling me, Gina, you should be on my show. I have this show called Holy Spirit Broadcasting Network, and it's an international Christian show, and it's all over the world, and I'd love to have you as a guest. And I told her, one day I'm going to write an Anchor Moments book, and when I do, I'll be on your show. Well, 2 weeks after my book came out, I was on Christine Ellis's show, and the station managers were in the audience. And when the show was done, they said, Gina, we've been praying for a long time to give somebody Catholic a show. We have 100 broadcasters across the U.S. and some in Africa, And there are various different Protestant faiths, but we don't have a Catholic, and we know Catholics are Christian too. I want to give you a show. It'll be Anchor Moments with Gina LeBenz. And it was on Wednesday, and Friday was Good Friday. And if you read chapter 1 of my book, you know how important Easter time is. So I knew it was okay to sign my contract on Good Friday. And I was on HSBN for a year. And that's going to be one of the chapters of this book, because I couldn't put it in before because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't even put Meeting Christine Ellis in this book. I didn't know it was going to happen. And
Could be an epilogue.
but it'd be in the epilogue. And things did work out. And I ended up making friends again with all the people who hurt my feelings at the Y, and it all worked out. But it only worked out because I listened to God, and I spent that $2,000 I didn't have to go to Orlando and to find out the missing piece that I needed to learn everything I could about forgiveness. So that is the long version of that story. And I hope at one point, I almost was Dariam. I was on HSBN for a year. It was fabulous. I have the playlist, and my speakers were incredible. The stories they tell will give you goosebumps. They're so good, of moments in their life that anchored their faith. And March of 2020 was the end of my 1-year contract, and then the pandemic hit. And what was so sad is I had speaking engagements for the first time with my book, where my picture was on the flyer as one of the keynote speakers. And I was going to get what I'd always wanted, to be a professional motivational speaker. And I was so excited. And I bought a bunch of books because with the ones that I had, I wasn't going to get paid per se, but they were going to let me sell my books afterwards. And I'd have a free table that I could sell my books and sign my books. So I bought a bunch of books. And so I was all ready, and I had 2 of them booked. And then the pandemic hit, and they had to get canceled because the country shut down. But the treasure in the poop of that pandemic was then Jeff and I did Anchor Moment Minutes on my YouTube channel. And fortunately, in November, a few months beforehand, I had asked HSBN if I could have a copy of my shows to put on YouTube, because they didn't do YouTube, but they put them every place else, but they really weren't doing much on YouTube. So they said, sure, and gave me a copy of all my shows. But that's what started my Anchor Moments journey. But I'm ready now, Dariam. It's time. God gave me signs that I shared last week when you weren't on the show, and gave me signs that it's time for me to stop living, stop being 64 ounces in an 8-ounce cup. And I'm probably at least a good 10 to 12 ounce cup now that my book's done and I started this YouTube channel, but I'm ready for a bigger cup. And what I learned from the AOC is the things that you're talking about. I thought I was okay, but I still have some internal weight bias, and I don't want to have that anymore. And one of the best ways to get out of it is to get some counseling on that. And that was recommended to everybody by Dr. Robin Pashby. Mentioned that, we don't realize that we're working so hard on our outsides, and our physical body, that we're forgetting that there's some things we need to do for our mental health too. And I finally have become aware that I do have ADHD. I'm pretty darn sure, and all of my friends, even I asked at the AOC when we were standing in a circle. Were you part of that circle, Dariam? A circle of friends? And I said, when I realized, I had internal weight bias, and I said, maybe I could get some help for that. And I probably have ADHD too. Maybe they could help me with that. And then they laughed and said, think. And everybody in the circle said, oh, Gina, you got it. Sandy, who is a special ed teacher said, "Oh, Gina, I was a professional special ed teacher for many years. Let me tell you, you definitely have ADHD." So I'm getting ready to start with that because I'm ready to break free of some of these unlimiting beliefs that have been holding me back. Limiting beliefs. I'm sorry. Some of these limiting beliefs that are holding me back. And our next book is not going to be about weight loss per se for our book club. When we're done with enough, we're going to do Rachel Goldman's book, When Life Happens. And it's all about mindset. And she also was on Oprah's show. And because I know when she got up to the stage to talk, the big picture they had on the screens was her sitting down next to Oprah on Oprah's show. And Rachel Goldman said she'd be a guest on my show. So when we're on the last chapter of her book, and we'll do one chapter a week, just like we have been. But when we do that last chapter, I'll have her as a guest. And I'm excited to have Dr. Anya soon as a guest and Ted Kyle this Wednesday. But I was most excited to have you, Dariam, because I've been trying for 2 years and so excited that everything aligned, the stars aligned, and you were able to join us today.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me. So I'm sure that you got some comments about people who wanted to ask some things.
Oh, yes, we definitely need to go because this is alive. So we've got more shipmates that have some questions. And Jeff, can you give me my water bottle? I am so incredibly thirsty. I usually set it next to me, and I guess I didn't today. And let's go here and see what we got. And I asked, too, where people are watching from. And we've got Terry in the house, Caring for Others and Me. She has a wonderful YouTube channel. Oh, shoot. You know what? I think I have both of my favorite pairs of glasses in my anchor room, sweetie. And Terry says, I think, oh, it's 80 degrees, sunny and light wind. Oh, man, where are you? That sounds great. All in a perfect summer day. Sky looks a little gray to the east now. Oh, that is just heavenly weather, Terry. She is in North Dakota, central North Dakota, where it is cool and beautiful. Hey, we got Cookie in the house, and Cookie has hung around with us for a long time, for at least a couple of years. And she says, Gina, Jeff, Dariam. It's a cool 90 degrees here in the Houston area. I won't be in the chat tonight. I'm celebrating my 5-year-old granddaughter's birthday, but I'll catch the replay. Oh, good. And how fun is that? Oh, yeah, we should do a yay for her granddaughter. Let's see, media. Here we go. Dun, 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 dun. And her granddaughter turned 5.
Yay!
Happy birthday to your granddaughter, Cookie. And Laura says 83 today in southeast Missouri. Oh, that's beautiful. That felt like the high 90s. Good evening to all. So a lot of humidity. They got a lot of rain in the Midwest too, like feet of rain, like crazy amounts of rain. And let's see. And we got Mayor Mindy in the house. Oh my goodness gracious. It was 99 in Charlotte today. Heat index 109. I've been checking Dariam's radar today to make sure he's good to go. Oh, I love Mayor Mindy. She's one of my besties. And I have slept in her driveway 2 years in a row. Love her and her husband, Shin.
And their friends.
And we got Barb in the house here with you all. Oh, thanks, Barb, our metabolic midwife, who also has an incredible Substack and YouTube channel. And we got Grant in the house too, yay, who also has a YouTube channel. And he has enough subscribers to monetize, but Grant, he needs more watch hours. So friends, if you want, he's really precious. And he and his wife are pretty neat. And they have lost, his wife has lost over 150 pounds and he's at goal weight and he's lost over 80 while taking GLP-1s. And he has quite the good story to tell. And we've got, yep, and then Terry saying hi. Hey, Twan's in the house too. Twan, I have a picture of you and Dariam at a convention that we can show too. It was so fun to see Twan there. I got to give her a big hug. And Grant says, y'all look great in your blues, Gina and Jeff. Oh, thank you, Grant. And Twan saying hey to everybody. And Twan also was a guest on my show quite a long time ago. It was so nice having her. She is just a hoot. And we got Paula in the house, and she's got a new YouTube channel too, Paula's Journey to Health. And she's saying hey to everybody. And Nancy, I got to meet Nancy for the first time at the OAC and got to give her a big hug and had shared a lot of dinners with Nancy. It was so fun hanging out with Nancy too. And Paula's reminding everyone to hit the like. It really does make a difference. Thank you. It helps us to be seen by more people. There we go. And a big thank you to Julio, who taught Jeff and I how to do that, by the way. Thank you, Julio. And we hung out with Julio too. And we hung out with Jess at the OAC. It was so fun. And we have a great community that likes to say hi to each other. And I appreciate that because community is what it's all about, you know? We don't have to be alone on this journey. And what they do see, Dariam, from you and I is normal. You know, actually, we worried about being the messy middle, thinking, you know, we're supposed to hit, 100 pounds or more off or whatever. But when you watch the commercials, really, we're normal or a little better than normal, which is like crazy. But it is.
Wait, you're normal?
Kinda. But we're here with you on the journey. We'll be here for quite a while, that's for sure. Oh, and everyone's saying, hey, we got Tracy in the house. And Brenda's here again, yay. And Grant says, we need to go to a Star Trek convention, Jeff. Oh, Jeff would love that. He's not done that in a long time.
Been trying to live long and prosper.
Yeah. And Paula says she'll go to the Star Trek convention with you too. All right. Maybe that'll be a shipmate
Maybe it'll be at the same time in New Orleans.
Oh, if there would, then I would be able to get you to New Orleans. But for sure, I'm going to go to the OAC convention next year. I'm going to make sure that happens. And we got Purple Bellflower with us. Yay. Their real name's Nicole, and everyone's saying hi to her too. Hey, we got Linda here, and she says, good evening, Gina, Jeff, and King Dariam. Hope your day went well, everybody. And Dariam does look like security in that first photo for sure. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. And Dariam, are you going to go to the New Orleans OAC convention?
I'm still working on that. I'm with Jeff. That's who knows? Stay tuned.
Okay, well, I hope you do, because it was so much fun having you there last year for sure. Oh, which I didn't say yet, Dariam. There is a ripple effect in life, and what you say and do matter. And sometimes you can say that just a little something, and it can make a giant difference. And a little unknown fact is that Dariam is the one who told Lorraine and Christopher last year in 2025, not even in 2026. He told them in 2025 they needed to check out the Obesity Action Coalition convention, and they needed to go there because they would really enjoy it. So they listened to Dariam and they went, and they were like, holy cow, this place is fantastic. And they did videos from there, and they inspired a bunch of us to go. And on the last day, there was also a gentleman named Mike, who's a big TikToker. And Mike talked about it to his TikTok fans, and a whole bunch of people who love TikTok came because of Mike. And so from the podium, they said, if you heard about this convention from Mike, please stand up. And over 100 people stood up and then sat down. And then they said, if you heard about this convention from the Downsize, from Lorraine and Christopher Durham, please stand up. And then me and a bunch of my friends stood up, and over 100 people stood up. And there was only 400 and some people there. So over 50% of the people who attended that convention was because two different people spoke on social media. Lorraine and Christopher Durham, I count them kind of as a together one since they have the one channel, and Mike from TikTok. Over half of us came because of that. And all the people who stood up for Lorraine and Christopher, none of us would have been there, including Lorraine and Christopher, if Dariam wouldn't have said something to them. And so I'm so excited that you did, because you changed my life. I wouldn't be sleeveless right now. I would still be covering up my arms, not realizing that I had internal weight bias. It was a life-changing convention, and it wouldn't have happened if 2 years ago you wouldn't have said something to them. And Anne Hogg from the UK has been watching all my videos that I've been putting about the OAC convention, and she's jealous because she lives in England, and she says the UK doesn't have any obesity conventions that she knows of. And I planted the seed in her and told her if she'd be willing to chair it, I'd try to connect her with people that I met from the OAC and see maybe if we could get something there, maybe in 2028. And she's really excited. And so I'm hoping I can get her connected to some people and we're going to have and then April planted a seed in me, April, who I met at convention. And she said, you, Gina, you should have an Anchor Moments community trip to Europe and bring us along. And one of our stops on that European tour could be the obesity convention in the UK. And you know what? I'm going to do it. And so I don't know when it'll be, probably in 2028, maybe 2029. But everybody who goes to that convention, Dariam, it wouldn't have existed if you wouldn't have first set the first ripple, sending Christopher and Lorraine to the one 2 years ago. The ripple effects are amazing. So I want to thank you about that.
Wait, you want to thank him?
Yes, I think everyone needs to give Dariam a big, anyone. Yeah, thank you, Dariam. Thank you so much. Oh, and Paula says, handsome Dariam. And Dariam, a bouncer. You know, I felt very protected when I had Dariam around too. I didn't have to worry about anything bad, and he was going to make sure that I found all the secret rooms and all the cool things. I really appreciated that. And again, our family is just loving on each other. Hey, we got Dennis Denise in the house. Dennis. Hello, fellow GLP-1 users. Is it Dennis? Dennis Swan. Yay! Thanks, Dennis, for stopping by. And everyone's saying hi to Dennis. And we got Traveling Tea, and I got to hug Traveling Tea. And you know, I found out her mom is Diane. And I met her mom 2 times in a row on the Downsized at Sea cruises, and then again at the OAC. And I thought it was Traveling Tea's sister. I did not know that was her mother. But Diane is her mom. She looks so young and so fun. Oh my gosh. Well, that sounds like a beautiful experience, Dariam, says Nicole. Again, all of our peeps are loving on each other, and I love that. And we got Denise in the house. And we got Vanessa Successa. And I met her at the Downsized at Sea cruises too. Hi, fam. Had to tune in to see King Dariam and hear about his security service side hustle. Fun interview. And I just love he's wearing his logo, you guys. I love that. He's got his logo. And Dariam, your posts are so fabulous. You need to your Substack. I think you need to put some of them together and create your first book. And I would love to order it, and I'm going to want you to sign it.
And then to quote you on it.
Yeah, and then we'll have to quote King Dariam. And that's the cool thing about Substack, because that's kind of what I did with my Anchor Moments book. Jeff created my my website to be able to blog, and he finished it at 11 o'clock on November 11th, on 11/11, because I was going to leave on the 13th. And I'd been begging him for weeks to get it done, but he had Veterans Day off since he works for the school district. And he worked from the crack of dawn all the way till 11 o'clock at night. And that's when I posted my very first blog post. And 10 of my blog posts was taking a leap of faith. And I took those 10 down off of my blog and put it into my book. And then, just embellished on it a little bit more, thickened it up just a little bit. And you can do that with your Substack too. So a lot of your posts are absolutely incredible, would already make a great book. All you'd have to do is staple it together and it'd be done practically. But when you do that, you have to remove it from your Substack once you're ready to have it put as a book. And then just do a little bit more at the beginning and a little bit more at the end, and boom, the first ever It's Dariam book, and it'll be amazing. And Grant really enjoyed when we did all those myth-busting shorts from convention. They were so fun. Hey, and we got Jerlene King in the house. Yay. And again, more highs because we love each other. Love that chair. Dariam chilling when he was in that big white chair. And Barb says, I'm getting dizzy.
I think that's when you were going speedy through all the slides.
Oh, I know, because I was trying to get to a certain one. Oh, gosh. Hey, Vanessa's got some funny bunnies. Some funny bunnies for us. Hey, are those things that are like jewels?
Don't know.
I'm going to give it a yay anyway. I think that's really cool. I'm supposed to do that with Super Chat.
Yay!
Thanks, Vanessa. Those are fun. And Barb says, many of us thought Dariam was a figment of our moderator imaginations. I know, because we were all asking him, and he was really shy in the beginning, and he wasn't going to do it. And then before you knew it, he became a superstar where we all wanted to have him. And we got Barb in the house. And Barb did get a big hug from me. Oh my gosh, yes, she did. And she was my roommate, so I got to see her every night. It was so nice. And I gave her a hug every night before bed. From Dariam, several. Oh, I know. He's all over the place. Substack is kind and respectful and no ads. That's good to know, Barb. I didn't realize that.
Good points.
Those are really good points. And Jess says, I really enjoyed watching the myth-busting shorts and the fun everyone had recording them. I especially enjoyed Gita's fun remarks and mic drops at the end of the videos. Oh, thanks, Jess. And Jess and Jen did one together. And that was so fun having them finally doing something on my show. And Paula enjoyed those too. And more people saying hi. Oh, and good. And Barb is putting on there, that's Dariam's Substack. That's how you would find him. It's Dariam at .substack.com. And Dariam is an I-A-M, not you, I-A-M. I made that mistake once, but I caught it myself. I was kind of proud of myself. I did figure it out. I was doing that wrong. And Paula's hoping she can join us in New Orleans. It'll be so fun. And Terry, finding joy over 50, says, hope I can meet you one day, Dariam. And Tuan says, Dariam is an excellent writer. I enjoy his Substacks. They're awesome. And Paula, everybody wants to meet Dariam. And Barb says, I also feel Dariam's writing nourishes even the really hard parts for all of us, even those of us in maintenance. Yeah. And hey, someone in Cleveland says, hey, y'all. And Paula says, he really is, Tuan. Oh, I would love to meet you too, Tuan. I hope you can go. Tuan is so much fun. It was really fun giving her a hug. And she was there with TT Trucker. And I got to give him a hug too. And oh, it was just, it was pure sunshine being there for sure. Yep. And even Barb says, I got to hug Tuan. And Dariam is an excellent communicator, Tuan. He really is. You're right, Jerlene. And Dennis says, I thought from listening to Dariam that he was a minister. I know he could be. And Dariam, are you willing to say, what else have you done with your life other than being an incredible writer? Are you willing to share?
And a bouncer.
And a bouncer.
And a bouncer. And
a bouncer.
apparently, so I mean, but right now, the only thing that I've been doing was helping everybody else. So I decided that it's my time to focus on me and focus on my life. So this is where I am right now, taking care of me. And for some reason, I can't help but take care of the other people too, because it takes care of me.
It brings joy. The biggest joy you can get in your life is to do something for somebody else, especially when they're not expecting it. You know, those random acts of kindness are just, they can make your heart almost explode with joy. It's so great. And Jess says, Dariam takes no prisoners with his Substack. They are so thought-provoking and powerful. If you haven't already, I recommend everyone checks it out. Seriously, you guys. It is a gift. You are getting it as a gift when you're reading it. But at some point, it really does need to be a book. At least one. At least one. Hey, we got Kim J's Sweet Healthy Life here too. Oh, so nice to have you here, Kim J. And everyone's saying hi to Kim too. And Dennis. And Grant says, I also love Dariam's recent short about having compassion on our past selves. That is really big. And I did listen to that because on Substack, you can do videos as well as the writing. And I saw that one too, Dariam, and it was wonderful. And Paula says, did I do it again?
Yep.
Oh, we got TT. Oh gosh, we got Chalky too. I did go. Where did I leave off?
We went to the very bottom. There we go.
No.
Keep going. When they're no longer bold.
Here, I'll let you find it. I accidentally, every now and again, Dariam, I hit the wrong button and it takes me to the very bottom. And I'm like, oh, son of a gun. And I whizzed past. And there's some QQQs for questions too. So we need to definitely hit them. Do you see where we're at?
Not yet. Don't do that again.
Yeah, I'll try to be very good and not to do that again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because there's some jewels. I hadn't even seen the jewels yet. Oh, my gosh.
There. This was right here.
Okay. Bunk. Right there. Yep. Hey, yep. Where she says hi to Jerlene. And then Paula. That was so good, Grant. I hope he shares more. Yep, more videos from you. They're wanting them. Your peeps are wanting them. And Barb says, thank you all. I let the meds lead the way. Very lucky I have the right genetics for them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was amazing how it affected her. Oh, and everyone's loving on Barb too. Yay. And glad to be here with Dariam. Okay, here's a question. Dariam, Paula wants to know what impacted you the most from the OAC convention? And what impacted me the most is I realized that I could get some help from counseling to get rid of my internal weight bias. How about you, Dariam?
So I thought that some of the things that impacted me were the speakers and being with the people, but I did not realize how much homework I brought back with me, because I have so many different layers that I have to consider and I have to sit with, and that internalized weight bias touches so many different aspects.
I was going to have Jeff. Yeah, can you put the slides? There we go. I'll just, while we're reading them, we'll swing through some of them. And Barb says, metformin's main side effect is horrid stomach aches and diarrhea. You know, I didn't get stomach aches, and I only got the diarrhea when I took double the medication by accident. So I lucked out. Actually, I've always been a little constipated, you know, full of poop my whole life. So actually, it was probably a good thing to be on metformin for me. Oh, and 30 joules of flour from Jerlene King. Yay!
Yay!
Thanks, Jerlene. And Paula had to stop metformin because of the side effects. For some people, they can't handle it. Oh, and Grant gave me some 30 joules and a flower. There we go. And Barb says, I think people have worse side effects with metformin than the GLP-1s generally. Yeah, there's a lot of people who complain about metformin side effects. Oh, and Paula gave me some joules too. Yay!
Yay!
And Jess says, shout out to Dariam for not gatekeeping the OAC. If it wasn't for him sharing it with us, a lot of us would not have had the memorable experience we did this year. Really, thank you so much, Dariam. And Paula says, I believe that, Barb. I've heard it before from others about the about metformin. And everyone's saying, hey. And we got Jen in the house who says, is the AOC always in DC, or am I thinking something else? It was in DC last year. This year it was in Orlando. And next year it's going to be in New Orleans. So it moves around different years. And Sunshine says, I didn't have prediabetes or diabetes, and I was on metformin for 2 months, and it didn't do anything. The GLP-1 is the only thing to move the needle on the scale. Glad I didn't have a spanking either. Yeah, the spankings aren't fun. That's for sure. Yep. And Orlando. And everyone's saying, hey. And Barb says, I look so foreign to myself. I know you're so tiny now, Barb. And Traveling Tees, great pics of everyone smiling. And Barb got to hug T too. Oh, she's a lot of fun to hug. T is so awesome. She is just full of sunshine. And Traveling T says, Barb, you're beautiful. And she is. And Barb says, metformin was also a major PCOS, PMOS, and infertility medication. GLP-1s are replacing that now, thankfully. And and Grant's jealous because he wants a Barb hug. And Paula says, really, Barb? I didn't know that. And Jen says, I need to check into it. I've lost 110 pounds so far. About 15 to 20 more to go. But much like Gina, I've been hovering around 194, 197 for a couple of months.
Yay!
Yeah, 110 is fantastic. Good job. And Paula says, I know I'm hugging Barb next time I see her. And Twan's applauding, and everyone's saying congratulations to Jen. And Twan says, great advice. And let's see. And Pam is driving and listening to us in California. Yep, everyone's congratulating Jen and saying hi to Pam. And Barb says, that was beautiful, Dariam. Stuck is definitely a painful word. Yep. And Jen says, exactly, Barb. My 15-year-old daughter was diagnosed with PCOS, PMOS, and was prescribed Wegovy. She has much more regular cycles now, yay, and has done over 40 pounds. And I love seeing her thrive. Awesome. And Barb says, oh, Dariam, so wise. Words are powerful. Don't stay stuck. That reinforces it. Wise words there. And we got Maria in the house too. And Minda says, and the sage has spoken, says Mayor Mindy. Indeed, Mindy, says Barb. Oh, goodness. And Jess says, so true. Success shouldn't be validated by how much the needle moves on the scale. The simple fact that we show up for ourselves every day, despite the hurdles our biology put in front of us, amazing. And Grant's welcoming Maria. And Jen says, we all need a hype man, speaking exhortations in our life. Take those thoughts captive and surround yourself with folks that will spur you on. Oh, those are powerful words, Jen. Thank you. Hear, hear, Jess, says Barb. And Paula says, it's hard, though, when everyone else is at goal on maintenance and you're still turtling along. I know. Yeah, that is true. That could be so hard, said Jen. And Barb says, if I could put blinders on the turtles, that would be my best gift to you all. And Paula says, Darren, we need daily exhortations from you. All right. And you know, seriously, he's got a lot of them. His Substack is just on fire. It is so fantastic. And Paula would accept that from Barb. She'd go to watch Dariam every day. And Linda loves Paula's comment. And Pam says, I love turtles. Oh, thanks, Pam. And Barb says, Gina, you had also not had 2 kids at 23. You weren't in perimenopause, etc. I know. That's when I was a young puppy. And it was hard for me to stay at, I only did 125 for a day. And Paula, thank you, Linda. And Stacy says, your words are so wise, Dariam. And Jess says, but the turtle is moving as fast as its body will let it. The forward momentum is progress. There you go.
Slow and steady wins the race.
That's right. And at least we're moving forward and not going backwards. So that's good. And Vanessa says, hi, beautiful couple in Dariam. Aw, thanks, Vanessa. And everyone's saying hey to each other. And Maria says, Paula, I've been on my journey for over 2.5 years, and I'm still not to goal. I've lost 208 pounds. Wow, Maria. But I still have more to go. But 208,
Yay!
Holy smokes, that's fantastic, Maria. Yeah, Grant's like 208 pounds, Maria. That's amazing. Maria, you're amazing and so beautiful, says Barb. Yeah, everybody is very impressed, Maria. And Barb said, Barb 1953, our other Barb, says, agree with you, Paula's journey to health. Daily exhortation. Love Dariam's Substack. And Traveling T says, did each of you remember to like the live? Thanks, T. I appreciate that. And I appreciate everyone who gives us a thumbs up. It really does help. And Paula says, thank you for the reminder, T. And Maria says, thanks for everybody congratulating her. And Barb says, I have to lie down, but I'm watching. Love to all of you. Oh, we love you too, Barb. Wowza, Marie. That is quite an accomplishment. And we all love Barb and are wishing her to get some good rest. And Paula says, T, are you going on the downsized cruise next year? I hope so. And Traveling T says, biology. That's right. And Traveling T did one of my shorts too, and did such a good job busting those myths. And T says, I'm not going. I like longer cruises. I didn't unpack this last cruise. Enjoy. And everyone's saying, hey. And Paula says, T, some of the ladies are staying on for a longer cruise. Gina's doing that. You haven't unpacked. And she's laughing. And yeah, I did sign up to do the Downsized at Sea cruise for next year. And you can do back-to-back cruises on the same ship, on the Celebrity Reflection. And so I talked Jeff into doing that with me. So we're going to be doing those 7 nights. And then we are also doing our first ever Anchor Moments sponsored cruise to Alaska on the Princess Cruise Line. And Michelle Frank is going to be our travel advisor, our travel agent. And this is how you can contact her if you're interested in going. Right now, you only have to give $100 deposit per person, and it saves your space. You get to pick what cabin you want. But Michelle has warned me today that they're selling out. So if anyone wants to join us, it's 11 nights, 7 nights by sea, 4 nights on the land deep into Alaska. We even get to ride a train for like 8 or 9 hours that has a glass top to it. Really, really cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you want to know more, go ahead and reach out to Michelle and let her know if you're interested or to hear more details. And I also did a couple of videos with Michelle, and one of the thumbnails looks like that if you want to hear more about it and join us on that. And that's 11 nights. Okay, and then now where were we? We were
Down.
4 days is too quick, she says. That's true, Dariam. Jen does say that in her book. And Paula's read my book too, bless her heart. I love her. Traveling T says, I'm planning now for my October trip. And 2 jewels and a silver star. Thanks, Purple Bellflower. And Dariam is a freaking genius. And that's coming from Mayor Mindy. So that means a lot, Dariam. You're going on a cruise in October, T? And people are saying, hey. And Grant says, as Dariam has also said, you have to live and work through your feelings. Don't push them aside. And counseling can help with that too. Somebody working on that for a little bit. Hey, and we got Barb's daughter, Small Things Daily in the house, Megan. And Paula has a question. Gina, is there a reason you want to be 125? Oh,
We don't anymore, right?
I did at the time. When I wanted to be a Weight Watcher leader, I had to be 125. I had to be between 110 and 125 was the goal weight of Weight Watchers to be considered at goal. And I had to be there forever, 110 to 125, or I wouldn't be allowed to be considered in maintenance, and I wouldn't be allowed to be a Weight Watcher leader or even a Weight Watcher weigher as a paid position. But now I'm like,
these numbers.
BMI chart things, I'm short, but I have a lot of muscles. I got a lot of muscles in my tush too. But I do have a lot of muscles for a little lady. And 120, anything less than 125 is really hard. I'm not even shooting for 125. I think if I hit the 150s, that would be good enough for me. And Jess has a question. Dariam, you inspire and uplift so many of us. Who inspires you or puts you back on track when you need it? Oh, that's really good. Let's go big on Dariam? I want to hear that answer.
So, so Jess, thank you for that question. What I have to do is, or what I found in doing this whole health journey is I needed to assemble an Avengers team. And part of my Avengers team of healthcare professionals is for me to get in contact with a psychologist to help me to talk through things, to be able to get out of my head and talk to somebody who can give me a different perspective. And I would say anybody who has the resources to be able to find somebody to talk through things with, they finding you a good licensed psychologist, I think is helpful. You may have to go through a few to find somebody who you gel with. I know that I did, but I found that it was so helpful because if I had all the answers, I would be so much farther along in life, but I don't. And I realized that that's okay. I am where I am right now, and I need to make the most of it. And I did that with the help of some therapy. So that helps me to make sure that I'm getting back on track myself.
Thank you, Dariam. And thanks, Jess, for asking. That was a great question. And Pam says, Dariam, you are so special. And you really are, Dariam. So special. Yep, and everyone loves Jess's question. And Michelle's in the house, stopping by to say hello. It's so great to see you, Dariam. Everyone's saying hey to Michelle because we love Michelle. And Michelle's been a guest on my show too, either in December or January. She shared her power word of the year, and her power word is thrive. And Michelle has lost about 150 pounds on Mounjaro, and she's at her goal weight, and she's in maintenance, and she's just doing super duper. And she's a new travel advisor, and she is great. She's going to be helping me with all of our special journeys that we'll put together for our Anchor Moments community. Hey, and we got Alonda in the house. Alonda used to live in Chandler. I found out she lived in Chandler for like 9 years, and I didn't know her then, or I would have been her friend, darn it. And now she moved away. As soon as I found out, I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to have hung out with Alonda. And she has a wonderful YouTube channel too. Definitely check her out. She's a teacher and a mom, and she does a great job sharing her journey, and she warms my heart a lot. So I'm looking forward to giving her a hug one day. Yep, and everyone's excited that Alonda's in the house. And she's saying hey to everybody. And Pam says, Dariam is so wide. He's such a blessing to our wise. Okay. She said wide. I know she meant wise. Pam has. Oh my gosh. And she's killing herself right now. She's kicking herself. Pam is known for, she types really fast and everything autocorrects, and it's a puzzle figuring out what she's writing. It always is. But I know she meant wise. Dariam is so wise. He's such a blessing to our community. And Gina, you have a heart and cold.
Heart of gold?
I think she means gold. You have a heart and cold. Hopefully not a cold heart.
Heart of gold.
And a heart of gold. I wish I could sprinkle that little pixie dust and make it all happen for you. Oh, thank you, Pam.
I love Pam. Pammy Pajami is amazing. I love her.
She is. And you know what, you guys? She has her 1,000 subscribers, but she doesn't have 4,000 watch hours yet. And neither does Grant Faithful GLP-1 Journey. February 1st, YouTube's going to make it harder for people to get monetized, and they're going to need 8,000 watch hours in a year instead of 4,000. So if you could give Mounjaro Journey with Pam, check out her channel. She's lost over 150 pounds. She's kept the weight off. She's in maintenance. She's even done the skin removal surgery, and she has a playlist about that. If anyone has any questions about that, she takes you on beautiful walks along the ocean because she lives in California, and she's just precious. And so's Grant in West Virginia. So they need some loving before February 1st so they can get those hours in. But you will love it. It'll be a gift to you too to see their channels because they're wonderful. Hey, and we got Rhonda in the house too. I'm late, but I can't wait to watch the first hour. And Rhonda is a new YouTuber and newly retired, and her channel is pretty darn cool too.
Joyfully Ever After with Rhonda.
Yes, so I highly recommend
Rhonda.
you checking out her too. She's got a lot of good things on how to live a life with joy, especially in your retirement. And people are saying hi to everybody because we're all friends here. And Traveling T says she's doing a cruise in October and another trip for Thanksgiving. I mean, T really does travel. She is diamond level on Royal Caribbean, and she's so sweet. She doesn't drink alcohol, but she could have, some free drinks every day if she wanted to. And she gave me a free pina colada on the cruise when we went this summer. And it was so sweet of her because Jeff and I don't drink much either. So we didn't pay for any drink packages. So the only alcohol I had was the pina colada she gave me, but it was delicious and so sweet. And Rhonda says the theme was spread joy. Wow, I tuned in at the right time. Yeah. It's amazing what how God can affect your life. And when you talk to him and you ask for signs, you just have to have your eyes open because he's there for all of us. And I know because I have so many people who share their anchor moments, the moments in their life that have anchored their faith with me. And it's amazing when you really open your eyes and see. And Chalky's in the house. I love Chalky. He says, super story, Gina, but Jeff's right. You do talk for longer sometimes. Says the guy whose eyes are closing and gone at 2 a.m. And then he's giving me a hug. Yeah, Chalky lives in the UK. So when I start at 5 o'clock Arizona time, that's 1 in the morning Chalky time in the UK. And Chalky, if you catch this on replay, we're gonna go to the UK. I'm not sure what year, but it'll be the year that we get an obesity convention there. And I'll take a bunch of my shipmates with me. And then I want you to be there. I want to give you a hug. I've been waiting for that. And Chalky says, love in the form of a single berry. How wonderful. Spreading joy. Yeah, she's precious. And you guys look up Gerda Wiseman Klein on YouTube. There are a lot of different YouTube videos about her. And she was amazing. They wrote a book about her life that turned into a movie, and she won an Emmy. And she passed away a few years ago. I think she was 97 before she passed. She used to live in Scottsdale, Arizona, not too far from me. And she was a treat. Oh, and I got to go to her house with my daughter, Alexis. Alexis was a young woman of distinction. And for Girl Scouts. And Gerda Wiseman Klein also got a young woman, or not a young woman, but she got a Woman of Distinction award. And we did it at the Arizona Biltmore. And that's how we first met Gerda Wiseman Klein, with Alexis and her both getting the World of Leadership honoree Young Woman and Woman. And then Gerda invited us to her house, and I got to sit in Gerda Wiseman Klein's living room with my daughter, and we could see her Emmy. Her Emmy was in a glass case behind us. And Gerda, she took out a plate of washed berries, and I got to sit in Gerda Wiseman Klein's house, and she gifted us some delicious berries while we talked with her. And that will live in my heart forever. And one day when I die and I'm in heaven, I can't wait to hug her and just tell her again how much she means to me. But she was amazing. And there's lots of cool videos with her.
I have a comment really quickly.
Sure.
So If you're interested in seeing Gerda Weissman-Klein and Alexis Lebenz, check out the Anchor Moments book, page 105. You'll see a wonderful picture. It's right there for you. So check out the book, Hope, Healing, and Forgiveness.
Thank you.
We'll go on with that. So check it out. It's a wonderful picture and story in the book. Okay, carry on.
Thank you, Dariam. I appreciate
Sorry.
it.
Couldn't resist.
And TT Trucker's in the house. Rhonda's worried I haven't given you a chance to say anything, Dariam. Jeff, too. Da, 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 da. That was one of Jeff's notes. Let Dariam talk. Let's see. People saying, hey, and we got Dawn in the house. She says, hey, y'all, I'm here listening while multitasking. Dariam is so full of gems. Yes, he is. Hey, and Naturalista's here. She says, hello, everyone. I'm late, but we'll catch the replay. Looking forward to hearing from It's Dariam. And Chalky says, Dariam's digital background is very cool. Yes, it is. There's a lot of things about Dariam that's cool. Yeah, I like his light that says the messy middle. Everyone's saying, hey. Let's see if we have any more that are questions. Again, lots of love. And then Paula says, I have a question for him coming up in the comments, TT. Dawn says, I totally would buy a book by Dariam. Me too. I'm telling you, Dariam. And Terry says, hi, all, great talk. Hope to be able to meet you one day, Dariam. And Dawn says, Dariam's Substack about the world needs participation, not perfection. Oh, that the world needs participation, not perfection, really hit home with me. That needs to be one of the chapters of the book, Dariam. Really good. I really enjoyed that one too that you did. And we got Kara in the house. And Pam says, what a beautiful live tonight. And Paula says, Gina, I actually need to find a therapist to talk through things I need to unlearn from Weight Watchers. There were some good things learned, but also bad. Yeah, absolutely, Paula. I'm 100% with you with that. And I'm going to look, a lot of times our health insurance has where you can speak with the counselor, and it's not very much money, if not covered.
And how is it a reward to make you weigh other people? That's a terrible reward.
Oh, no, they pay you to do that. That's a job. You get to choose. Not everybody chooses that.
Yeah, I get to weigh people.
I would have been kind to everybody. I think I would have been good.
All right.
But no, I couldn't keep the weight off. And Pam says, Paula, that's such a great idea. Healing from these types of old messages that we were taught. Yeah, we just had to try harder. Are you following the program? And Kara says, I'm late to the party, but I'll be back for the replay. Love to hear from you, Gina, Jeff, and Dariam. Thanks for sharing with us tonight, Dariam. And Pam's apologizing for the typos. That's what's funny. That Dariam being wide and me having a cold heart. Oh, it's so great. Oh, Pam. That was one of your funniest, best typos. Oh my gosh. No, Dariam, you were amazing, sweetie. I'm so sorry. Oh, yes, Pam, those messages need to be reprogrammed. Oh, they were so funny. She said, wise. Yes, I was walking and typing. And she's thanking Dariam for being kind and not taking it hard. And Pam says, yes, it's so hard. I have around 1,300 watch hours today. That's it? Oh, my gosh, you guys. We got to help out Pam, because seriously, that is not very many watch hours. But she has
Mounjaro Journey with Pam.
Mounjaro Journey with Pam. She's got her 1,000 subscribers. She just needs them watch 4,000. And then the thing is, after a year, after 365 days, then the last day from a year ago drops off and you don't get those hours anymore. So it's 4,000 watch hours in the last 365 days. It's really tough. I don't know how people are going to do it when it's 8,000. And Calamity Jane says, hi, Gina, Jeff, and Dariam. Hi to all in the chat. Hope everyone is well. Oh, and we love Calamity Jane too. She's so fun. And yeah, Pam's thanking us again for understanding. And Paula says, Pam, you are a jewel. I really appreciated your talk on lymphedema. I'm going to share that with a friend. Yes, those ocean walks that you do are amazing. And Chalky says, 3:15 a.m. here. So it's a good night. Hugged us at 3:17 a.m. here again. So it's a good night. Hug to us again.
Good night.
Oh, we love you, Chalky. And Nancy says, I'm bummed. I was listening while driving, but going through the mountains in Tennessee, I kept losing signal. I'll definitely watch the replay. I'm sure it was a good one. We might have lost Dariam, and it was our last one here. And I want to say good night to Ian. Okay, that is all of our chat. I think we might have lost Dariam because we've been on for so long. His computer might have run out of juice. But I just want to thank everybody on the chat. I want to really thank Dariam so much. He's just been a special part of this Anchor Moments community for over 2 years now. And I really do appreciate him. Oh, good, he's back. So
I'm sorry, I
goodbye.
forgot to plug up the computer, and it was going out. So I'm happy I caught it. I apologize.
Oh, good, because I was ready. I'm like, oh, he's gone. But I did tell everyone, I'm like, you know, he might have lost juice on his phone or on his computer. Dariam, we hit all of the comments. There was so many in the chat because they really do love you. And
why don't you ask him if he has any last words for us?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I've done a lot of talking still. Sorry about that, Dariam. What are some last thoughts that you have from this time together today?
Sure. So what I would leave everybody with is this. That with all of the things that's going around with us on this life journey, it doesn't have to necessarily be health. It could be anything that's going on with life. We have so many different things that's telling us or making us feel like we're not doing enough. But if you just take a moment, check where you are, look around, how far you've come, I really believe that you're doing much better than you think you are or that you feel that you are. So just take a moment, thank your former self, look back with some compassion, and just know that you're doing better than you think and you can keep on going just a little bit longer.
Oh, that's
Thank you. I
beautiful,
needed to hear
Dariam.
that. I'm working on decluttering my office, and I'm just going to remember that and remind myself of that while I work on it tomorrow.
Yeah, we're trying to do that Swedish death cleaning, I think they call it.
Where you don't leave your whole house of 35 years worth of stuff for your kids to clean up after you. But you can give stuff to the people who might be interested in having it while you can enjoy giving it to them. And they can enjoy getting it.
Mm-hmm.
And when that fails, Jeff, there's wonderful AI backgrounds that you can create that work just as well.
Wait, let me try.
There you go. Ta-da! There you go. Instant background. Problem solved.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's funny. All right. Oh, and Paula has a last Dariam stay. Amazing, my dude. And Paula says, thank you, Dariam, Jeff, and Gina. This was a wonderful live. Thanks for joining us. All right, friends. Wednesday, Ted Kyle's going to be my guest. It's a bonus live, 1 o'clock Arizona time, 4 o'clock Eastern, and 9 o'clock for those of you in the UK. It won't be so horribly late. And if you have any questions for Ted Kyle, put it in the comments, and I'll ask him on Wednesday. And Friday, we may have a bonus live too. We have a beauty queen that is very special that Grant gets to hug every night before he goes to bed, and maybe our guests on possibly Friday night. We're trying to nail down the time and stuff. So anyway, it should be a lot of fun. Oh, did I take my shot? No, I didn't even take it out of the fridge. I forgot. I was so excited, y'all, that Dariam was coming. I forgot to take my shot out of the fridge.
Who's that?
All right. It's
If
going to
they
be a
have to
cold
leave.
one. Yeah. If you have to go, you could go. But yeah, go ahead and get my shot. Oh, Dariam. And Dariam, thanks for being understanding of my pumpkin patch analogy. But I really did kind of feel like that, I was like Linus in the pumpkin patch, trying to make my pumpkin patch be the most sincere pumpkin patch of all. So the great King Dariam would want to come and visit my pumpkin patch someday and spend some time with us, because I know that you are a treasure. And it really was a treasure to be able to have you. Yeah. All right, here's another tip. If you forget to take your shot out of the fridge and you have to do it kind of quickly, one way you can warm it up a little bit is, I like to go like this sometimes with my hands to maybe get it just a little bit warmer, because if it is cold, there is a little bit of a sting because the medicine is cold and the needle is cold. But if you take it out for about 30 minutes before you give the shot, I tell you, I can't feel it. The only time I feel it is every now and again in my leg if I hit a lipedema nodule. I have lipedema nodules in my arms too, but not as many as in my legs. So I'm usually okay with my arm. Okay, take off the cap, give it a twist from lock to unlock, but not until the cap is off or you'll break it.
Use the alcohol pad.
Oh, see, thanks, Jeff. See what he has to, Dariam understands the jobs that you have to do, Jeff. He had to be my helper at convention, make sure I didn't lose my stuff.
And you can take it this week, right?
Yes, next Monday I can't because I'm going to have a colonoscopy at the end of the month. So I can have a shot this Monday, but not next Monday. So friends, don't let me take my shot next Monday or I'll have to reschedule my colonoscopy. There we go. And hold. Yep, 2 clicks. Hey, that wasn't bad. I warmed it up enough. That wasn't bad at all. All right, friends.
Good night, Gina.
Yep. Hold on to your anchor moments and make it a great day. Love you guys.
Thank you, Dariam.
Thanks, Dariam. Bye-bye.